There is a war happening inside every person. Not a war of armies, not a war of nations, a war of desires. One voice whispers, "Do what feels good." Another voice quietly says, "Become who God called you to be." Every day, every decision, every temptation, we stand between two roads, the road of the flesh and the road of the Spirit. The Apostle Paul the Apostle writes in Galatians chapter 5, "Walk in the Spirit, and ye shall not fulfill the lust of the flesh." Notice something powerful here. He doesn't say, "Fight harder." He says, "Walk." Because transformation with God was never meant to be a single moment. It is a journey, a daily walk, a constant surrender. Paul reveals something many believers quietly struggle with. The flesh and the spirit are in conflict. You want peace, but anger rises. You want purity, but temptation knocks. You want discipline, but laziness whispers. You want faith, but fear screams louder. Galatians tells us this battle is real. The flesh fights for control, and the works of the flesh are obvious. Hatred, jealousy, envy, outbursts of anger, selfish ambition, lust, division. These things don't merely damage us, they distance us from the life God intended. Because sin rarely announces itself like destruction. Sometimes it looks like comfort. Sometimes it sounds justified. Sometimes it feels deserved. But the flesh always takes more than it gives. It promises freedom while quietly building chains. And many people ask, why do I keep struggling? Because spiritual growth is not automatic. A garden doesn't grow because you wish for it. It grows because something is planted, something is watered, something is surrendered. Walking in the Spirit doesn't mean perfection. It means direction. It means learning to follow God even when your emotions pull elsewhere. Walking in the Spirit means when anger says explode, you choose patience. When temptation says give in, you choose obedience. When fear says quit, you choose faith. Because walking in the Spirit means your feelings no longer become your master. The Spirit becomes your guide. And here is the beautiful truth. God never calls us to walk alone. The same Spirit that raised Christ gives strength to endure, wisdom to discern, and peace in chaos. You may stumble, you may struggle, but if you keep walking, you are still growing. And then Paul shifts the focus. He shows us evidence of a Spirit-led life, not performance, not religious appearance. Fruit. Fruit grows naturally when connected to the right source. An apple tree doesn't strain to produce apples. Healthy roots naturally produce fruit. And when you stay connected to God, the Spirit begins changing you from the inside out. Love. Not shallow love, not convenient love, but love that forgives when pride wants revenge. Love that stays kind in difficult moments. Love that reflects Christ. Joy. Not happiness dependent on circumstances. Joy in storms. Joy in uncertainty. Joy that says, my situation may change, but my God has not. Peace. A peace the world cannot explain. The kind that calms your anxious thoughts. The kind that steadies you in chaos. Peace that says, even here, God is still in control. Patience. The ability to trust God's timing. To wait without bitterness. To endure hardship without quitting. Because delay does not mean denial. Kindness. choosing gentleness in a harsh world, being light in dark places, showing mercy when criticism would be easier. Goodness, living with integrity, choosing what is right when compromise feels easier. Faithfulness, remaining loyal to God even when life feels uncertain, staying planted, staying committed, staying obedient. Gentleness, strength under control, not weakness, power guided by wisdom. Self-control, the ability to say no to the things trying to destroy you, the discipline to choose purpose over impulse. Because freedom isn't doing whatever you want. Freedom is no longer being controlled by what once controlled you. These are not decorations for Christians. They are evidence. Evidence of someone becoming more like Christ. Fruit takes time. No farmer plants seeds today and expects harvest tomorrow. And many believers become discouraged because growth feels slow. You still struggle, still fail, still wrestle. But Galatians 6 gives hope. Let us not grow weary in well-doing, for in due season we shall reap, if we faint not. Your growth may feel invisible, but roots are growing underground before fruit appears above it. Every prayer matters. Every moment of resisting temptation matters. Every act of obedience matters. God is producing something in you, even when you cannot yet see it. Galatians 6 teaches a spiritual principle. Whatever you sow, you reap. Sow bitterness, bitterness grows. Sow compromise, consequences grow. But sow prayer, sow discipline, sow obedience, sow faith. And eventually, harvest comes. The Spirit produces what the flesh never could. Peace, strength, purpose, freedom. So the question is not, are you perfect? The question is, what direction are you walking? Toward the flesh or toward the Spirit? Because every day you are planting seeds, and one day, fruit will grow from what you planted. Walk in the Spirit. Stay faithful when growth feels invisible. Trust God when progress feels slow. And in due season, the fruit will speak for itself.